Hello, welcome to another episode of the Gravel Trap Podcast. I am your host, Sean, with fellow co hosts, Zin and Chris. How's it going, guys?
Oh, I'm a happy man right now.
It's not going too bad.
Alrighty. Why are you a happy man, Chris? That sounds kind of weird, but
Because the power supply, I literally bought it yesterday and it is here literally today. So now we now
cool,
have a quote unquote Forte wheelbase instead of the Prima.
cool. So, yeah, can I guess jump straight into the sim racing news with that.
Ace
If you want
Attack,
to
I
talk about
think
that.
it was Tuesday. It was either Tuesday or Monday morning. Released the power supply for their updated power supply for any La Prima base. For both their TK version and then their La Prima version to upgrade to the Forte.
Yeah, and that increases them to what, 16
So it
newton meters,
increases
and the
this increases the slew rate to about 6.7, and then the 6.7 newton meters, and then the torque is up to 16 now.
hmm. So anybody looking for a little bit more headroom on their Ace Tech equipment,
Look no
definitely
further. If
go
you got
If you
the
figure.
have
Invicta,
the
unfortunately,
Prima,
you can't go any farther than IndyCar. You're out of luck at 25, 27.
Yeah,
can't go any further than IndyCar.
yeah, all the force feedback. So all right, well, let's get right on to our next sim racing news topic. In previous podcasts, we talked about how um, that EA and has lost the rights for the WRC, or hasn't renewed them because they're pretty much gutted the Codemasters staff, more or less, other than the team
Once you
making
stand
the
for
F1
F1.
game. Yeah, other than the team making the F1 games. Um, but WRC gaming rights have been returned to Nacon and KT Racing. For those of you who don't know, they were the ones that made the original WRC games before EA and Codemasters got the license um, to do
um,
those. Um, so yeah, this article is from traction.gg. Says obviously the KT Racing created the creators of the WRC 10. It was announced that the British studio Codemasters had secured the rights from them back in 2023. Then that lapsed. Let's see here. The head director for KT said that they're looking forward to breaking new ground together in this collaboration to truly turn the WRC games into an epic adventure and offer a game experience beyond rally as we know it today. He went on to say that we are looking forward to. Oh, that actually. Oh, that's weird. It double repeats on there. That's in Traction's article. Um, says 2027 will see a significant change for the real world WRC competition with fresh new rules and introduction of the new car and series, along with a game to follow. So looks like we're going to get our first WRC game in 2027 uh, from Nacon and KT Racing. Um, let's see here. I think, oh yeah, their licensing agreement extends out through 2032. So
um, hmm.
definitely have a long-standing contract with between WRC, Nacon, and KT Racing. So it'll be
isn't Nikon the ones that were behind Test Drive Solar Crown?
yes.
And pretty much all the
Hmm.
previous versions of WRC.
Yeah, but those
Which
weren't half
and the
bad.
community is like they're kind of from what I was reading in the WRC community, they're kind of at a lose-lose situation right now because they don't hold NACOM to a high standard, and then EA dropped the ball on whatever WRC was. So they're kind of in a the community is kind of just does not know what to do or think right now. They're kind of just letting it play by air because apparently there's lots of bugs in the other WRC games that just never were fixed or things that carried over from game to game. So it's kind of a mixed bag of tricks, if you will. It's kind of more or less what do you vote for? The guy on the left or the guy on the right, and you're probably getting screwed either way.
Yeah. Trying to think who. Oh no, that was Saber Interactive that made the Dakar games, but anyway, yeah, I played what is it, WRC Generations? I think was
that's the one
that
that that's another one they made.
That's like one of the last ones they did, and I don't know, it felt a little too arcadey for my liking. But I don't know, maybe with them getting the license back and they've seen how hopefully they've looked and seen how positively received the WRC game was by Codemasters, and hope they kind of follow along with that style of a game, because I think obviously if
You can only hope, but everyone's got their own version of a WRC game, I guess. I don't know.
So I don't know. So we'll just have to see. Like I said, hopefully they learn from EA's mistakes and what made the game good, and move
yeah,
forward
I
from
can
there.
hope, because like just reading through like the Reddit post on it was like people were either okay, this might be a step in the right direction, or we're completely screwed on both accounts. Which I'll be honest is not something I want to see when Rally has the potential to be big, but it's being handled poorly at this point.
Well, and the rules changes they're talking about is the removal of the hybrid units, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, removal of hybrid units, and I think lightening up
I'm
the cards a little bit.
curious if Nakon's or the other studio is going to hire the Codemaster folks that got let go. I mean, I'd be smart, but I don't know if they have the money to pay them.
Yeah.
Right.
Going back to their issues during Solar Crown development.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I just guess we'll just have to see how that plays out. Although, I don't know if although it's done by KT Racing as well as a division, so I don't know if that's like a completely separate team from what the normal Nacon team was that was working on Solar Crown. So,
I'm
because
looking it
in
up
Solar
right now.
Crown, KT Racing isn't even mentioned as a studio working on the game.
Right.
So it's just listed as Nacon.
Well, I searched KT Racing and I got a shock company.
Well, I mean they're they're making shocks, then they know how to make rally suspensions, hopefully.
Okay, so what games? So KT Racing is made Test Drive Solar Crown.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not listed on the initial. Yikes.
It's
Well, never mind.
I literally went to their like site, and our game literally Test Drive Solar Crown is on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And apparently they're making an endurance game too now.
Really?
Yeah.
Called Endurance Motorsport Series.
Good luck to them.
Well, yeah. Hopefully they.
It's supposed to be a Hypercars LMP2 GT. I don't know, whatever the KT racing engine is. No idea when dates are. No idea what specs are. It's
Well, good luck getting hypercars, because unless you are getting some sort of
I mean, literally
licensing.
it's
Mhm.
definitely a Porsche license and a Cadillac license by these pictures. So those are the only two so far. Like the picture car, or like the photo car, is a 911 GT3 in a shell under a cloth, and then some of these pictures are just the 963. So they at least have the Porsche license, but I don't think much else, or who knows what else they've done.
It's just test drive Porsche Challenge again.
Mm-hmm.
But alrighty, let's see here. Guess we can move on to motorsport news. And we'll pick up with probably the most important race of the weekend, which is the first inaugural, maybe the last, Weenie 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So those of you who don't know what the Weenie 500 was, it was a race between 6 of the Oscar Mayer hot dog Weenie mobiles, or hot dog mobiles, Weenie mobiles, however you want to word it. Yeah, I didn't know that there was 6 of them in existence, but apparently there is.
I mean, I knew there was like 3 or 4 of them. I didn't realize there was 6 of them.
Right. So so yeah, we'll the race was interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
The hot dog puns were out of control. Yeah. Hilarious, but out of control.
You could say they were sliding out of the bun.
Yeah. Listening to Will read off all them puns was hilarious, and you could, in some instances, you could hear Townsend and Hinch laughing in the background of the mics, even though their mics were muted, but Will's was picking their laughter up because of how terrible the jokes were.
And then in true Chicago fashion, we lose.
Yeah, the Slaw Dog ended up coming away. The winner is the Chai Dog, or Chicago Dog, lost at the line. And then there was one of the Weenie mobiles ended up blowing the motor.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they were only limited to a maximum of 65 miles an hour for safety purposes. So because due to insurance reasons, they couldn't go over Indianapolis highway speeds because the cars were not equipped with roll cages. So that's why they were limited to 65.
Could you imagine going 130 in that thing?
Yeah, the top speed on those things actually is 130 miles an hour because they all are equipped with Chevy LSs. So I mean,
so what I hear is it's severely aero limited.
Yeah, it was aero limited and regulation limited by the sanctioning body of whoever that is.
Who sanctions the hot dog races?
Yeah.
Oscar Mayer.
I thought it would have been hilarious. I thought it would have been funny if they would have had somebody like Joey Chestnut or Kobayashi waving the checkered flag.
Well, I think Chestnut's a vegan now, so.
Well, it doesn't matter. He still does. Vegan hot dogs are still a thing.
Vegan now?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
He had too much meat in his life.
Although it was hilarious listening to them. It was hilarious listening to them sing the Ostermeyer hot dog freaking thing for the national anthem and telling people to put their hands over their stomachs instead their hearts.
Oh God, I missed that.
Yeah, the picture of Will, James, and Hinch standing up and putting their hands on their stomachs and saluting the giant hot dog flag that they had flying was, again, just, it was just goofy all around, but funny. I mean, I doubt they're going to have it next year, but you never know.
Right.
I mean, it's just apparently, looking at the crowd, it was a fairly packed house for that hot dog race.
At least
I mean,
in the
people
main
love their
grandstand
dogs.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want people to know I am in here with a pro license 13K driver.
Oh, sweet.
As I'm doing this race while we're doing the podcast.
So I think you're with the 1%. The 0.001%.
Yeah.
I think that's an understatement, but yeah.
Immediately after the race finished, there were multiple tweets to iRacing to put the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in the game.
And then someone decided to scan the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and just
the CFD model on it.
Yeah. I should really go check the Assetto Corsa mods to see if it's already up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure somebody has one.
I mean, if you can race a tofu shop, you can race an Oscar Mayer.
If you can race a T-Rex, you can race the Wienermobile.
I should really go look at that because I should totally download the Indianapolis or the Indy Motor Speedway mod for it and the.
Is Indy not a track in the game?
I don't think so. No.
Huh.
So.
I know it's a crime against humanity.
Well, that's all right. I mean,
it's Assetto Corsa.
It's in Assetto Corsa Competizione, though.
Well, yeah. Well, the road course is not the oval.
Yeah. But
I'm not even sure you can drive the oval if they got barriers blocking
they
parts
do.
of it.
I'm pretty sure they do.
I didn't even look. All right, now on to some less exciting racing. The Monaco GP was run on Sunday as part of the first race of the
weekend,
quote unquote greatest the greatest weekend in motorsports. Yeah.
So third position, here we come.
Yeah, and the final year that this will be happening. So there's a lot of talk about what the 2 mandatory pit stops would do to race strategies or changing the race.
It changed about as much as a paper bag floating in the wind.
Yeah. So let's see here. Some highlights I have of that race. Bortoletto got sent off into the tire barrier by Alonso. Well, that was Alonso passing him. Let's see here. And because of that, he was able to get the car going again, but had to pit. Sonoda was the first one to dive into the pits just as the VSC was deployed. Bierman went into the pits, but his crew wasn't ready. They didn't have the tires out. So big oof for them. Apparently, Ferrari team was working for Haas this weekend.
I mean, they are a Ferrari customer team.
Yeah.
Apparently, for Memorial Day, they offered a package deal. Not only do you get engines, but you get our incompetent engineers.
Right. Let's see. Gasly ended up having front end damage after he clipped the back of Sonoda. That was interesting. Just Gasly
like a Constantina effect, or did he just misjudge his braking point?
Nah, he just misjudged his braking point and ran into the back of Sonoda.
Stroll on Ricardo last year,
right? Yeah. Piastri was slow on the track and had to go into the pits. Alonso ended up having engine failure.
Rare nowadays.
Yeah, but he ended up pulling off into a section of the track where the cranes could easily get to him and lift him off the track without deploying a full course yellow or a virtual safety car or something, so they were
And
able
we
to.
had an interesting Alonso. I think Alonso's radio was quite interesting.
Yeah,
after
yeah, he
that.
was quite pissed off about it. Lots of bleeps.
At least he didn't say GP2 engine again.
All right. Let's see here. Russell had an illegal overtake on. Oh gosh,
it
who
was
that?
one of the. I think it was one of the Haas's, or was.
Yeah, it was on somebody anyway. He he was told to give the position back, but he
No, it was
pretty
on the
much.
Williams.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was on the Williams. Yeah, it was on the Williams. But when he was told to give the position back, he said, "Give me the penalty. I don't care. This race is stupid with the two-stop strategy." Literally said that over the radio.
I love it. Not a Russell fan, but I love that.
Yeah, he said, "This is a stupid race. I'm not giving the position back. Penalize me," which they promptly did. I haven't heard anything if there's any additional penalties for talking bad about the FIA.
Well, I think he was saying it because he was thinking it was going to be a 5-second penalty, and the stewards gave him a drive-through instead.
Yeah. So,
it was a 5-second penalty for Verstappen at Jeddah for not giving the place back. So he was like, "Fuck it, give me the 5-second penalty. I don't care."
Well, he wasn't even in the points anyway.
Right, but the stewards were like, "Haha, joke's on you. We're making you drive through."
Right.
Once again, FIA and their consistencies.
And they didn't even pit the entire, or they only pitted once the entire race.
Oh, they didn't do their second stop?
Nope. No, he said he wasn't coming in.
Funny how the FIA never considered what to do in that scenario. They just said, no, make 2 stops. Because I don't remember him getting DQ'd after the race for not doing it.
I checked the standings. I mean, didn't score any points anyway. Their team wasn't in points contention.
I feel like if there wasn't points contention, you would have got DQ'd or just moved to the back of the grid at that point.
Right. Anyway, Antonelli also did the same thing to the Williams, but he gave the spot back, so he didn't get the penalty. So Antonelli being a good boy.
He's just trying to save his skin as his first year in F1 right now.
Right.
Well, it was funny because like the Williams kept swapping positions to keep both Mercedes at bay, and it was pissing the Mercedes team off.
Yeah. Well, and they were talking about it too, like going into was it the Nouvelle chicane? The Williams was like slowing down way before anybody else was to purposely hold them up.
It was pretty much like a carbon copy of what happened to Russell happened to Kimi.
Right. Yeah, and then that's the same complaint Norris had about Verstappen too. He was purposely running off the pace, or purposely slowing down the pace of the race and backing up the corners to back Norris up into third place. So that way when Max pitted for his final pit stop, he only ended up losing 2 or 3 positions instead of more if they would have kept up the full race pace. So because Verstappen ended up having to pit on the final lap in order to avoid getting the disqualification.
Yeah.
And then I was watching a video where apparently F1 around there, it was slower. Well, Lawson's car was slower than a GP2 car.
Yeah.
By I think it was like almost a second.
Right. And so, but Norris did end up coming away with the win. So
shocking.
The funny thing about the whole Williams Mercedes thing was it was the meme that was created after the fact, and it's James Voles walking down the pits while Toto's up in the box and they're shouting at each other, and it's captioned, "What's your name, James? Fuck you, James." But I mean, the part that kills me about the Monaco race is everybody is immediately jumps on to the track needs to be taken off the calendar or the track needs to be modified. Nobody's talking about the real problem, which is the cars have gotten way too fucking big. Go watch the F3 and the F2 races. They had passing, they had action, and it's because they're half the size of the fucking F1 car.
Yeah, I know they did. I can't remember if it was during one of it was during one of the free practice broadcasts or something. They were talking about they had brought up the 2026 rules package, and they showed the 2026 car like spec compared to the 25 spec, and at least that car is smaller.
How much smaller is it? Is it
Basically where the front wheels are to the 25 car, that's where the very tip of the front nose cone is going to be on the 26 car.
okay? So I mean, at least they're making a conscious effort to make
And
it smaller.
it's like,
It's
what they say, it's like a half a foot narrower too. So
okay, yeah, because I'm like, it's not the length of the car, it's the width of it that's making it really hard to pass around there. I mean, yeah, the
Yeah.
length affects, turn-in points, and like Antonelli did in qualifying, I think it was, when he just clipped the entrance to the Nouvelle chicane and broke the suspension. But you look at races in the 80s and 90s when the cars are tiny compared to what they are now, and there's no problem with action around there. Granted, there was also a drastically different, skilled gap compared to what's on the grid nowadays. But
Yeah,
at this point, with all due respect to FIA, they can do what they want from a sustainability perspective, and the hybrids may have served their purpose, but to me, they're better off going with a compact V8 engine and sustainable renewable fuel, and ditch the hybrid altogether and just make the car smaller, like 2009 2008 era,
yeah.
and say have at it. It's
Well,
going
yeah,
to be cheaper
and
for the teams because they don't have the stupid spec well, it's not spec, but what I mean, with the hybrid units and the complexity of all that.
but I mean, if you get rid of the hybrid system, that would free up another 170 kilos off the car. Which, I mean, again, light. We'll get into it in IndyCar, but lighter, smaller, faster cars bring better racing.
Yeah.
So
and
I mean,
simplify the aero, which they're already working on, so you don't have the complex elements, which is creating a massive dirty air scenario behind the car. You're still going to have some. It's just the very nature of vehicle aerodynamics.
yeah. I mean, each
you're
team's
not
going to try to
you're not going to
get
have
something.
What you have today, or what you had in 2021.
Yeah, where you couldn't touch the dirty air, you'd be like a second and a half
unless
slower
you
or
had
something
the
like that.
DRS to just literally blow by somebody.
right.
Or you just were capitalizing on somebody's mistake. But yeah, it's to me, that's the way they need to pursue it. I get it, but to me, you leave the electrification and stuff for Formula E. I mean, hell, Formula E runs this pretty much the same layout, and they had a hell of a race at Monaco.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the F2 race was a bit of a shit show, but
I mean,
so
the
was
Porsche Cup race,
Super Cup race too. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's still, but that's because people were able to try and make passes.
Right.
You can't have a schmozzle if you don't have people trying to go for it.
Right. So
people can say, yeah, there was action because people wrecked. It's like, yeah, but people wrecked because they were trying to make passes. That's what you want, right?
I mean, if you
complaining about,
if you can fit 4 Cup cars astern and block the track, 3 Cup cars can fit.
Yeah. Which means theoretically 2 F1 cars should fit minimum. 2.5.
Yeah.
If the car was smaller than that incident last year between was it Perez and Ricardo, or who was it? Whatever.
I think so.
Going up out of turn 1, that doesn't happen because the car's narrow. You have room for 2 cars there.
So yeah, we'll have to see what next year brings with the cars being half a foot narrower and about 3.5 feet shorter. So,
oh my God.
The fact that you could say the car is going to be 3.5 feet shorter is crazy.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. This is a hectic race. It's crazy. Let's see here. So beginning of the race was delayed due to raindrops. And then of course the broadcast already started to talk about how long Larson needed to have before he absolutely had to be on the helicopter and get into the plane. By the time, I think it was like some at one point they had said he had like 45 minutes left. Like if the race didn't start in 45 minutes, they were going to be having to basically put somebody else in the car, which would have been Tony. But they did get the cars rolling, and unfortunately for Scotty Mack, he ended up trying to warm up his tires, goosed it a little bit too much, and just hit the inside wall.
Yeah, that's one thing we should say is not only was it overcast and they were dodging rain, but the track temp was very cold.
Yeah, so I mean, listen to his interview. His whole posture the whole time. Just gutted for him.
She should have done this Kimi strat, not try to warm up his tires.
They were all doing it. He just got caught out.
Yeah.
For all we knew, he had a very small patch of wet track, but.
And as Connor said, watching Scott wreck made him completely forget about him peeing himself. So, which did you see Stingray Rob's thing about him handing Connor some Depends?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's like, I know you're getting up there in age, so I got you a gift.
Right.
He told him, I got you a present. Shake it, don't shake it too much.
Yeah. it was a bag or box of Depends. So, let's see here. You had Scott with this unfortunate crash, and then they panned to Dixon's car, and the brakes were on fire, which was wild to see. Like,
calamity, here we come.
Yeah, and he didn't pit. He just rode around under speed and put the fire out. But I would have been worried if I would have had brakes the first time I needed them. But yeah, they left him out, and he started the race after having a brake fire.
Yeah, and ultimately they did come back to bite him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they started the race. And then Andretti and Harvey got together at the very beginning, and the Andretti curse continues.
Good.
As Marco was eliminated T1 lap 1. Just, I don't know. I feel bad for Marco. That's just that. At least let him get into the race. It's one thing if he doesn't win or anything, but damn. At least let him do the race. So let's see here. They ended up going back to green after that. Then they threw the rain for yellow. Throw the yellow for rain. Flip that around.
For yellow. I just that.
Yeah, flip that around. It was a few sprinkles here and there, but it was enough to throw out the yellow flag. Let's see. Guys started to come down the pits. Larson, Schwartzman, and Dixon all have some trouble in the pits. This is the first pit stop they were making. Dixon slid through his pits. Larson had some wheel problems. Schwartzman just had a slow pit stop that time around.
Yeah, they had some issues on the right rear getting it to line up on the hub properly.
Yep. And then the race went green for a while. Ended up having some actual green flag pit stops. Unfortunately, this was about the time that Rossi had his engine issues and
it was gearbox issues, but
yeah, gearbox issue, and then he ended up
Fire.
going into the pits, and yeah, the fuel hit the hot gearbox that was burning up and ignited the methanol fuel on fire. Which this year or last year that they added the coloring into the fuel so you could actually see the fires now.
I didn't think they still used methanol, but
no, they still do, but they added a color additive to the methanol.
So you could actually, because methanol burns clear. So
Yeah. So you could actually see the fire. Rossi's fuel men ended up getting covered in fuel and catching on fire.
yeah, that was a
Luckily,
fun
he
time.
was okay. They showed pictures of him giving the thumbs up with like half of his fire suit just completely burned.
Well, the fire suit did its job.
Yeah. So, I mean, glad he was okay. I mean,
and
you
there's
could just
a picture of him sitting on the wall while he's doused in fire extinguisher foam. Like he's looking down pit road for what's his name that came in, had no brakes and spun the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy one. Didn't someone also get hurt in that part?
No, not that one.
No. This was the VK crash where VK crashed coming into the
that's what it
pits.
was, Renus VK. Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know if he had too much rear brake in the car or the pads were pushed out.
It looked like, but he said that he felt no brakes, so he kept pumping them and then just finally slammed on them. That's what he said in the interview. So, and he wasn't the only one to report that. So I don't know if it was not only cold track, but maybe something with cold brakes that it wasn't responding or what. But he was one of 4 or 5 cars that had issues.
He just had the big one in the pits instead.
Yeah. So anyway, that ended up bringing out the yellow for that crash, which cars came down pit road to for pit stops, and then this is when Schwartzman ended up locking up his brakes and hitting his pit crew and smashing the front wing on that car and breaking one of the front suspension components.
It was funny to see the crew guy that's just sitting there slowly pushing it back into place with his heel.
Yeah, which one of the crew guys did complain of his ankle or foot hurting him, but didn't see anything about anything broken or anything like that. So, which I mean, lucky for that because man, that guy got
took a direct hit with that left front wheel.
Yeah. So
that was rough to watch.
Well, I guess it's better being the wheel where it's kind of softer than the actual body of the car.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like it's gonna be soft, but
I don't know. Yeah, with the issues that they were having in the pits and people sliding through, I don't know if they need to make a rule change like NASCAR where the car needs to be, X number of pit boxes away before the crew can jump out to service the car, or
I mean, I don't think that would have helped in this case because it was, his car hitting his guys versus, a car behind them pulling out or, missing their box sliding through and wiping out somebody in front of them. But
so, yeah, I don't know. Just unfortunate. And then once they went back green, there was a stack up at the beginning of once they went to green, which really jumbled the field up. And this is where Larson ended up downshifting into third, I think he said.
Yep.
To slow down the car from running into somebody in front of him. And that caused the rear tires to hop and just spun it around and ended up collecting Kiffin Simpson and poor Stingray Rob, man. He was literally wrong place, wrong time. Yeah.
Honestly, the way it looked, I thought he just touched the inside curb and just spun it.
No, he said he was slowing up and he downshifted, and when he downshifted,
Yeah, when you listen to the onboard, you can see and hear him grab third gear, and that just sped up the rear wheels, and
Well,
well, she wrote.
yeah, off you go.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that ended Larson's chance at completing a full Indy 500 this year.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, and then they ended up going. Gosh, who was that? That I put that somebody spun on the restart, but they didn't throw the yellow for that because he kept going. I think that was.
It was yeah. Who the hell was it that had that massive tank slapper? Was that Rosenquist?
Yeah, I think it was Rosenquist or Siegel or somebody ended up like they spun out. And they kept going though. So, but they didn't throw the yellow for that because obviously, like I said, he kept going. And then I got on here lap 120. Connor Daly took the lead, and man, you could hear the crowd when he took that lead when he came down that front stretch. Just, I mean, it was like listening to like Dale Sr. or Dale Jr. taking the lead at Daytona or Talladega because the grandstands just erupted when he took the lead. So, I mean, which was cool to see and cool to hear. Then they while while Daly was in the lead, it was funny watching him because they knew they had to save fuel, so Daly's pace slowed like way down for fuel saving.
Like 208s or something.
Yeah, I was doing 208s, 209s, and stuff like that, and the entire field behind him was just riding behind him because nobody wanted to pass to try to save as much fuel for that last dash
Push?
of fuel. Yeah, towards the end of the race. So then Newgarden ended up having fuel pressure issues, which killed his day.
Yeah, he worked all the way up from the last road and 8th or 9th, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it was impressive to watch him come from last to, I mean, so close. That was crazy. Let's see here. Daly finally dived off into the pits, and unfortunately, when he came out, they had lost a wheel weight on on the rear tire of the car, which ended up being the reason why he had horrible vibration.
Why that was?
Yeah, he said he had a horrible vibration, which was causing the tire to shake and causing it to wear unevenly. He said. So, so yeah, unfortunately, that kind of slowed him down. Hunter Ray was having a good day. He was coming up through the field. He ended up stalling in the pits, though, which pretty much killed his top 10 effort that he was having. And then, Alex Palou ended up taking the lead with a couple of laps to go and coming away with the win. It was Nolan Siegel that ended up crashing on the last lap, which is wild because Fox didn't even they quick cut to it and then they quick cut away.
Yeah, it pissed me off about that. I was like, what the hell are we doing?
Right. So, I mean, it was had me worried for a little bit because usually the only time they quick cut away from a crash or don't show anything about a crash is if something bad happens.
Yeah.
So it kind of was like, I was like looking at Twitter and like trying to look at IndyCar updates and stuff to see, any reports of somebody going to the care center or, something going on, which they didn't. I mean, luckily they didn't. It was just, Siegel was fine after that. So Palou ends up getting his first win on an oval, his first Indy 500 win. Wins 5 out of 6 races, gets double points for this race. He essentially now has a race and a half lead in the points already. So
So someone, I guess that when they were having the award ceremony for the 500, they were joking that he could. I guess Scott Dixon was like, I'll I think it was like, what is it, New Zealand? He's from New Zealand.
no,
Yeah,
Pelosi's from Spain.
Dixon's from
No,
New
but he was
Zealand,
saying he was going to give a vacation to New Zealand and pay for it all
Yeah,
for,
Yeah,
for
'cause-
the
don't
next
show up to
5
Detroit.
races.
yeah. I mean, if I wasn't any of them, I wouldn't show up to Detroit either.
That's a different topic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the day following the race, it was found that Marcus Ericsson and Kyle Kirkwood were DQ'd for hybrid modifications.
How do you modify a hybrid for this?
Something with the programming.
Yeah, there was something in the programming. So anyway, they got DQ'd and got bumped to last in the lineup there behind everybody else that raced.
It's last for the runners, right?
Yeah. And then Ilat was DQ'd for a front wing modification, which Connor said that was he had got dinged in qualifying. He got one of his qualifying runs disallowed for the same front wing modification. So I mean, if you were Ilat's team and seen that one team already got busted for making that wing adjustment, why would you do it? But guess you got to take every advantage you can. So he was put ahead of the two cars that got DQ'd for hybrid modifications, at least. But yeah, that was a crazy, chaotic Indy 500 race with the crashes at the start, the rain, the slowing of the pace. Nobody wanted to seem to want to lead the race, for fuel strategy reasons. There's a lot of talk about the two lap cars that were in front of Palou when he had the lead. Which I don't know. I mean, that's kind of I don't know. It is what it is. That's just part of racing when you have, lap cars and cars running slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part that I don't understand is like Ericsson was running a certain pace to, and Palou was standing behind him to fuel save, and then I guess met his number, but actually before that he passed Ericsson because he was like, why am I staying in second and fuel saving when I've got 2 lap down cars I can go sit behind and fuel save while leading?
Right.
And I don't know why Ericsson didn't recognize that and get up to the lap down cars and say, all right, you want to pass me, you're going to have to pass them at the same time.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
So I don't know if something was off with his balance, because once Palou passed him, he just could not get up to him to try and make a challenge. So I don't know if the dirty air was just that bad or his setup just went away at the end. But like once Palou went around, that gap stayed pretty steady the whole rest of the time.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, Palou essentially had the tow from the 2 lap cars in front to do what he wanted. So
I mean, well, Ericsson got DQ'd anyway, so
yeah.
that would have been a bigger controversy if he did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what people said, but I was pulling for Ericsson or Malukas.
Right.
Because Malukas driving for AJ Foyt.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it for the Indy 500. Moving on to the Coca-Cola 600. Start of the race, Kyle Larson looked pretty strong at least the early part of the race. Wouldn't last too long, unfortunately, though, because he ended up bouncing off the wall one lap, which he said he think it might have bent a rear toe link slightly, which he ended up spinning while being in the lead, which was super unfortunate for him. That pretty much ended their day. Let's see here. They're getting ready to come to the green, and Josh Bilicki ended up losing a rear tire, which delayed the green. So it was, I mean, good call for NASCAR that they seen it and didn't throw the green and then have to throw the yellow right away. Bowman also had a super loose race car because he ended up spinning as well. Coming off of turn 4, those bumps right there on the top side of turn 4 were horrendous for a lot of people. Let's see here. Byron ended up taking the stage 1 win. Then going back to green, they ended up. Next thing is Cole Custer, Connor Zilich, Jimmy Johnson all crashed after Johnson ended up again losing it, coming off a 4 and hitting the wall and just causing a big crash there. Unfortunate to see for Connor Zilich, again caught up in somebody else's mistake, but he's got a lot more Coke 600s ahead of him. So let's see here.
Don was shouting at the screen in enjoyment from that one.
Oh, because of Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. They had green flag pit stops. Riley Herbst ended up spinning coming onto pit road, but kept going. Let's see. And then Kyle Busch ended up spinning coming off a 4, again, coming off those bumps. And then that ended up bringing out the yellow, ending stage 2 early, which Byron ended up taking stage 2. Let's see here. Beginning of stage 3, Zane Smith ends up spinning and hitting the wall. Looking at the replays of it, SVG was right behind him when it happened, but it just looked like he had got loose coming off the corner and just lost it. And by the time, I mean, SVG was right behind him, and you could see by the time the car was already, getting out of control, just Shane was already right on his rear bumper. So he just gave him that extra tap to send him around. So not really anything anybody could do there. I mean, so it was unfortunate. Let's see, then going back to green, part of the way through stage 3, Blaney, Suarez, Larson, and Haley were all involved in another wreck. That was a pretty big one there. That's Larson ended up getting his rear end ripped off there. So completely finishing off the car from whatever was broke. Coming off of turn 4 again. People got loose, and that's all it took. Because that's when Suarez kind of got squeezed there coming off a 4, so through them bumps. Let's see here. Late in the mid to the end of stage 3, Hamlin was really coming on strong. They had seemed to found the balance on their race car, and he was running down Byron, although Byron ended up holding him off to take the stage 3 win. So again, something unique with the Coke 600 is they run 4 stages because of the length of the race. Going back to green from the beginning of stage 4, Hocevar ends up blowing the motor and collecting Chris Buescher. Unfortunate to see for Hocevar. He had a strong car that night too. He was actually pretty well keeping his nose clean too. I mean, he was racing people hard, but doing a good job at that. So, I mean, he's kind of had a reputation over the last year or so of kind of driving outside of his head, but he seemed to have been doing good this race. Let's see. Seabell ends up having a rear tire problem in the pits. Reddick ended up getting a penalty for too fast. Too fast entering. So he had to get a drive-through, which ruined his. He was in kind of the top 5, top 10-ish most of the race. Sent him in the back. And then Reddick ended up bouncing off the wall, which really killed that car. Then after that, so unfortunate to see for him. And then the last 50 or 60 laps, man, it was a heck of a race between Byron and Hamlin and Chastain running both of those guys down. Unfortunately, Denny ended up not getting enough fuel into the car in the final pit stop that they had.
Wasn't it something wrong with the refueling rig?
Yeah. So when they put the nozzle in, it didn't engage right away. So, it wasn't the second. It wasn't the second or the first fuel can. It was the second fuel can that they went to put in. It didn't engage right away, so they pretty much got almost none of the second tank in.
I think they got maybe like a dribble of it in, and then it went up the air hose.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Denny had to drop out of the battle, the three-way battle that they were all having there, to pit, which put him a lap down. So it was unfortunate to see for him.
Yeah.
But then, Ross Chastain, man, he started shotgun on the field after wrecking his car in practice. Just ran Byron down, and I don't know, Byron seemed to lose the handling of his car towards the end there. Where Ross's car seemed to be a little more loose than Byron's car. You could tell by the way that they were getting through the corners. Byron
had 1 and 2, and then Chastain would just take it.
Better in 3 and 4, but
then that slowly dissipated. Like you said, he just lost it.
Mm-hmm. So, but Ross ended up getting around William and won the race from 40th on the grid, which is the furthest back anybody's ever won the Coke 600.
Also, hats off to his mechanics for staying up until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah. So Watermelon Man got to smash a melon at the start finish line. So that was that's always funny to see. He went up into the crowd and was celebrating with the crowd, handing them out watermelons and stuff. I guess while Justin Marks was talking to him while he's going into victory lane, a fan ended up coming and reaching into the car and stealing his hat. Yeah, so security chased that guy down, and apparently he didn't have a good day after that.
Let's just say he's won the Darwin Award for getting banned from those tracks on
in one go.
A NASCAR calendar.
Yeah. So Ross ends up getting a win, locking himself into the playoffs. He's outside the cut line. He was outside the top 16 cut line, so now he's in.
Shaking things up.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, good race, exciting race. Watching, Chastain come through the field. I mean, Byron had the absolute car to beat. Hamlin's car was really good. Just a 1.5-mile track package again, just delivering exciting racing. So, which really now shifts the talking point of, do we even need to run the Roval now? Which, I mean, obviously we have to this year, but
yeah, Dale Jr. was talking about the discussion about whether or not to make Charlotte in contention for hosting the championship race.
Yeah, he did say that. He said that could be one way to sway Marcus's opinion on running an oval race for the fall, is if NASCAR tells him, look, if you want your chance at a championship weekend, you got to run an oval. So,
I mean, I've never been a fan of the Roval, so if we lose it, it's not going to make me cry or anything like that. So
I was a fan the first 2, maybe 3 years they did it. And then now it's just kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
It's lost its appeal because now have like we have Chicago, which
Mexico City.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Watkins Glen has always been a staple, so that's
Yeah,
never.
I mean, you've got Coda, you've got Sonoma, you got Watkins Glen, you got Mexico City as like permanent road courses, and then you've got Chicago, which to me puts on a better quote unquote street race than the Charlotte Roval does. It really doesn't serve a purpose anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To me, if you want to have a road course in the playoffs, you just make that Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's too late in the year for it to be unseasonably cold or anything in New York at that time of year.
No,
even if
no.
it
It's. I mean,
was,
they did it
hell,
last year.
yeah. So I mean, and even if it was, you just go out to Sonoma because it's going to be way too damn hot in Texas. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I mean, what I don't understand is we have 3 road courses now.
We got more
And
than 3 road
even
courses.
if you go to Road America again, you could
You've got Coda, you've got Watkins Glen, you have Sonoma, you have Mexico City, and you have Chicago, if you want to count that as technically as a road course.
I don't.
That's 5.
Yeah.
It's 5 road courses. I mean, there's still some talk whether Chicago is going to stay on the calendar for next year.
It's gone. They are not renewing the contract, as far as I'm
So,
aware.
but
Which, I mean, it is what it is. I didn't go to the
I
race.
mean, it sounds like they're already talking to other markets like San Diego, Los Angeles. There's
They were
Right.
talking about doing race in Dallas instead of going back to Texas Motor Speedway.
We're going to Jerry's World.
run that fucking Arlington track. Oh my god.
I was trying to enjoy this podcast. Why did you have to bring that up?
Listen, I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying that.
No, I'm just talking about the Arlington GP in general and that concocted fucking street circuit around.
we're gonna get another Zin rant just by mentioning it.
Anyway.
Don't worry. I was talking to my wife about it because she saw the advertisement in the commercials during the Indy 500 about the Arlington GP.
I mean, would you go just to see the shit show unfold?
Okay. I'll look at where the fucking grandstands are and look at what ticket prices are. If it seems reasonable and that I'll be able to see a decent amount of the race, I'll consider it.
Yeah, if you're paying $250 for a ticket, no.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you got to pay $50 a day for parking or some shit, no.
Right.
Because I mean, the lodging is not necessarily a problem because my wife's family lives in the area and
right.
I could just drive there. I mean, I went to school up there. I know the roads, but literally the track is down the street from where I went to school for my master's degree. But yeah, I don't. I'll have to see what the pricing is and everything. It's my wife's birthday weekend. We can, make an event out of it, and it's in between Dallas and Fort Worth, which has good entertainment options and stuff to do. But, yeah, it's just Arlington as a city is unique and weird on what they do and how they present themselves. And so it's one thing to have sports teams and an amusement park up there. It's another to host a race. And again, 2.5 hours south, you have one of the premier permanent road facilities in the United States and in the world, and you choose to make a fucking shit street circuit around 2 sports stadiums.
Right.
So
anyway, I mean, back to the Roval discussion. I mean, you could possibly see Wilkesboro getting a date there if they're not gonna. I mean, if they wanted to, that could be interesting. So I don't know. We'll just have to see when we get closer to playoff time because that's when they start announcing the 2026 schedule. I mean, we already know Miami is going to be the championship race for 26. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about it a few episodes back about having a rotation of 3 or 4 tracks that rotate having the championship race.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's what
maybe
they're doing.
you have one. You know, I don't think you could have a road course or super speedway be the championship.
They
race.
already said they would not do a road course or super speedway.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a rotation between, say, Vegas, Phoenix, Homestead, and Charlotte, I mean, pretty good tracks. To me,
Right.
Phoenix is the weakest of those. It hasn't really produced great racing with this package, but
Right.
um,
But it's a NASCAR owned property, just like Homestead is. So I mean,
Yeah.
it
well,
doesn't
doesn't
essentially
NASCAR
cost
own Charlotte too?
No, Charlotte is a SMI track, which is owned by Marcus
Marcus.
Smith, which is also Vegas is owned by Marcus Smith as well. So
Yeah, I don't think it would be a problem if NASCAR goes, "Hey, we're considering you hosting a championship race." I'm pretty sure Marcus is not going to say no to that on either venue, if I'm honest. But
right.
uh,
So yeah, that's all I've got for on track news. Speaking of tracks to possibly run a championship race at,
Time to buy.
yeah, if you've got just $12 million sitting around in your bank account that you're not doing anything with, and you like motorsports, maybe you should go buy yourself a premium racetrack, like Rockingham Speedway being up for sale after it just had a refurbishment and a couple of NASCAR races held this year.
well, if you are interested and you are able to play the Powerball in your state, the estimated jackpot currently sits at 207 million. So you could play the lottery today, be a winner, and tomorrow buy yourself a racetrack.
Yeah, and then collect some of the tax revenue on that on your taxes, because when you make a purchase like that, you get some money back on taxes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, according to the sales listing, Rockingham Speedway had a $12 million renovation completed ahead of its NASCAR return in April. Included renovations to repave the track, which cost $3.3 million. It says over 10 million of the 12 million invested came from the state's budget listing from that grant that they gave all these racetracks. Let's see here. 2025, Rockingham was requested an additional 12 million in appropriation from the NC General Assembly for additional track and infrastructure improvements to get the Rock Cup ready for a potential race in 26 or 27. It says that the North Carolina House is set to meet and finalize this bill as of the coming month. So it sounds like they're going to get this $12 million grant from the state as well. So, I mean, you're looking at a fully developed racetrack that is literally race ready to go. It says the property is available with an open offer period, with the buyer is set to be chosen no earlier than July 1st.
So, what is the actual asking price of it, or are they just like say
it doesn't say the actual asking price, because they generally don't. I don't know.
Obviously, so they're not going to disclose, but
yeah, because there's a lot of negotiations that go into buying tracks or buying large property real estate. So, yeah. So yeah, here's hoping that somebody buys it. Like I said, I mean, it would. I don't see why NASCAR wouldn't buy the track, or hopefully, like you said, Marcus and SMI buy the track. And I mean, look at what they did with North Wilkesboro, getting that cup ready. I mean, it's pretty much the track's already, with this extra $12 million in grant money sitting to you once you buy the track to make improvements to it. It just seems like a no-brainer to, go through with projects to keep this thing going. So yeah, Like I said, if you've got money and want to buy a racetrack, and you can buy Rockingham and get $12 million worth of grant money from the state as soon as you purchase the track to make infrastructure improvements. So, yeah. Yeah, that's all I've got for motorsport news. I don't know if you guys have anything else.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So this was published yesterday in Sports Car 365, but it's an interview with IMSA President John Doonan in regards to ongoing conversations with ACO and FIA on top class regulations for the hypercar/GTP extension out to 2032. So IMSA President John Doonan said that he's been in constant communication regarding the future of its shared top class platform, indicating that there could be more news to come in the coming weeks. This is a good segue to remind everybody that we're less than 20 days away from Le Mans. So I would say probably look for that to be an announcement at the earliest on a possible extension of the regulations. The development comes in the wake of continued talk in the WEC paddock of possibly extending the current LMH LMDH technical rule set from 2029 to the end of 2032. It was announced last June at Le Mans that the category would be prolonged for 2 additional seasons, initially set to end in 2027. It got an extension to that 2029 deadline, which opened the door for Genesis, Ford, and McLaren to all commit to future top class platforms. It's understood at least 3 additional manufacturers are currently assessing programs as well, given the expanded runway. When asked by Sports Car 365 if IMSA has been involved in the discussion progress for even further regs extension, Doonan acknowledged its close alliance with its international partners. He said, quote, I think we're constantly in communication with the ACO about what we as a sport are set to achieve when it comes to convergence, the stability we've seen in those that are already committed and the programs that are coming in the future. We're constantly looking at ways to make sure this moment continues for all of us. So the short answer is yes. We want to make sure that we're making decisions for the sport that give everybody as long of a runway as possible, whether they're already here or whether they're publicly have already said that they're going to be here. And so hopefully more on that in the coming weeks. Doonan indicated that any possible regulation extension would be made as a group decision. Its partnership with the ACO and FIA on top class convergence is only one of a number of key links with organizers around the world. Again, quoting Doonan, it says, there's the momentum that we're seeing because we've had these collaborative discussions, whether it's us working with Stefan Rattel and the GT4 platform that is obviously a pillar of Pilot Challenge, or our alliance with the ACO on top category convergence, or the fact that the GT3 platform has become such a special part of so many championships around the world, he explained. We're super proud to show leadership there with GTD Pro that allows manufacturers to have a program with professional drivers in their rankings and also have a customer program. It's just if we don't have that collaboration and we're going to see an ebb in the wrong direction. So our goal is every discussion we're having to answer the question of how do we maintain this moment and grow it even further. With Aston Martin introducing the first car built to LMH regulations into the WeatherTech Championship this year, Doonan added he's hopeful more will follow in the years to come. Toyota, Ferrari, and Peugeot all currently campaign cars in the WEC built to LMH regulations. Doonan's quoted as saying, I'm having a lot of dialogue. He went to COTA last year and met with every one of them. Ferrari, Toyota, Peugeot, Aston Martin, of course, has come. Alpine, in fact, an LMDH competitor, as you know, is in the news as they wanted to come sell road cars in the U.S. The welcome mat is out. It's been out. They've all been invited to come to the November test this year. We would love to see others follow in Aston Martin's footsteps and have a program here in the States. And back to my comment, the North American market is incredibly important to all of these brands. And so I hope it's not just a strategy, as we say in the office, but I do hope that some others choose to come and join us and show the world that the Rolex 24 at Daytona, the Mobil 1 12 Hours Sebring, Motul, Petit Le Mans, and so forth, those events are all just as special. So, I mean, it's great news, but I see a big problem growing, and that is where the hell are you going to put everybody?
Well, they have said that if the GTP field continues to grow, that they will bump LMP2 out of Le Mans.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about in IMSA too.
Right.
So,
Well, IMSA's generally a little more receptive to opening up pits, to having cars on the grid. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I think in IMSA we've seen teams use the same pit box before too, right?
yeah, they have made that mandate before, where they've made it mandatory for team cars to use the same pit box if they absolutely need to start opening up pit space.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I mean,
So,
I could see theoretically, just spitballing for 3 additional manufacturers. If you had Mercedes, um, uh, Mazda,
Yeah.
and I don't know, Dodge, whatever. I would
yeah.
say Audi, but I'm pretty sure they've shut that door and absolutely sealed it shut for
I don't
coming
know.
back
I've
to
heard
sports
rumors
cars.
of it coming back. Rumors of them coming back with it. So who knows?
Yeah. Well.
But I mean, it's rumors. So at this point, who probably not.
So you're figuring, okay, figure 3 to 6 cars,
Mhm.
at a track like Long Beach, are they going to have the room if, GT continues to grow, or, um, maybe Laguna's another one, but Laguna's being updated. So maybe they won't have pit lane space issues if they continue making improvements.
I mean, Road America is getting a brand new pit stalls and new garage areas right now.
Oh,
Like those are
really?
being
Oh,
built.
they're doing the
But
renovations now.
but
Yep.
I would say that you probably won't see Mid Ohio or CTMP back on the schedule.
Not for a little bit anyway.
Well, I mean,
I thought
the thing
Mid-Ohio
with
was
those
doing some
races too
paving.
is they've kind of been doing like the split runnings with those, where it's just GT or just GT or LMP2 and GTD or GTD Pro. Like that's one thing with IMSA is they've kind of, certain tracks that maybe garage areas aren't big enough, they will do some sort of
Right.
split series run. I mean, look at, VIR is just GT cars only.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine because like CTMP this year is LMP2 and GTD, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if GTD Pro's there or not, but
No, I think it's just GTD.
right. So, it's just one of those things where I don't think you would see GTPs go back, but I don't know if it's because of a space issue or because of pace of the car. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but I mean, it's it sucks that we're running out of space for people to run, but it's also, I mean, not a bad problem to have either.
No, it's not a bad problem to have.
And I mean, IMSA could do something too, where they do a prototype challenge with just LMP2 cars, or put LMP2 cars in with
The VP Fuels
GT4
Challenge,
cars.
or
Yeah, like the sports car challenge classes now. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sure there'll be things for them to, races for them to do. It's just, where will they be doing it?
Yeah. All comes down to what they're willing to do, how they're willing to accommodate it, and whatnot.
Right. So,
Well,
yeah.
I got one more crazy, not crazy feather in the hat, but one more news coming up in F1. So
Okay.
the FIA is cracking down on the flexiness of your car. So originally, the FIA's technical regulations stated that 100 kilograms of load applied symmetrically to both sides of the car. The wing's vertical deflection must be no greater than 15 millimeters. When the load is only on one side, the vertical deflection must be no more than 20 millimeters. From Spain onwards, the tolerances are brought down to 10 and 15 millimeters respectively. And then the FAA has also reduced the tolerance for flexing of the front wing from 5 to 3 millimeters under 6 kilograms of load. I guess.
Big changes on the rear wing.
Yeah.
Mm.
McLaren apparently has been widely believed that they've been exploiting this.
Oh
So
yeah,
people
you
are
can see
expecting
it.
it's gonna change a little bit, a dynamic.
Right.
My only point is that if they found enough that makes them go, hey, yeah, we need to change this rule, like, why not do it sooner? Because as far as I can tell, the evidence presented has not changed. Nothing new has come up.
Right.
So all of the information they have to make this change now is what they would have had,
3 races ago.
4
Yeah.
races ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's mainly just to quote unquote look like they're doing something.
Yeah.
But apparently, McLaren's also worried that Red Bull's gonna do something because they're strong in the mid to high speed.
Well,
Right.
they said supposedly, that's what I read, that if they could be within 25 points of McLaren by the time Spain came around, then they would be in good shape. And that's exactly where Verstappen is 25 back of the
Mhm.
lead. So I guess they've always been targeting Spain for their first kind of big upgrade.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to see what
If it makes any difference, yeah.
if it makes any difference or not. But
I'm not expecting it to make too much of a difference for right now, but who knows?
right.
I mean, it might bring the midfield a bit closer and have a little more fighting, but as we just said before, the cars are too damn large.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year we're getting what is it? We're Barcelona? No,
Yeah,
Madrid.
Madrid.
Ugh, great.
Well, whatever I can't even. The name is so stupid. I can't even pronounce it.
Well, the
It's
computer
pronounced-
can't even get around the track, so
Yeah, it's pronounced, this shouldn't be on the calendar. It's complete dog shit, but in Spanish.
yep. Anyway, yeah, that's it for the news topics we got for this week. Obviously, this weekend we've got Formula One at in Spain at Catalunya. IndyCar and sports cars are in Detroit. And NASCAR is at Nashville.
As I'm
Which-
driving around the superior Detroit track.
Yeah, as he's driving around the Superior Detroit track, which last year the Nashville race saw 4 or 5 overtimes, which pushed it 20 minutes longer than the Coke 600 last year.
Well, and it will be on
And it's
Prime.
200, yeah, and it'll be on Prime. Which, by the way, that's another thing I wanted to say. The Prime coverage was actually really good. So chemistry good. Some of the camera cuts might need to work on.
It's part of the process at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and while we're talking about broadcasting, I will say that if I was grading Fox's first Indy 500, I'd probably give it a 70.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Like, it was good for the most part. There was some stuff like the intro promo stuff, top notch.
Mm-hmm.
But the camera angle the camera work still needs work.
Yeah.
Some of the compelling or sharing the excitement of the moment and stuff, I think could have been done slightly better. You compare the final laps of when Newgarden passed below and the being able to hear the crowd and everything, like you couldn't really hear that with Fox. Like we talked about, you could hear when Daly took the lead, but when it was on NBC, it was so much more pronounced.
Right.
So there's work to be done.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Second race for Prime. We'll see how well they do this weekend. An actual post-race show coverage was awesome. A little awkward, little clunky because there were no commercials for it. So you could see some of the stage crew guys trying to like get in and like add chairs or take chairs away or move stuff around when the camera was still live cut. So that was a little awkward and clunky. But yeah, Corey LaJoy, Carl Edwards, Daniel Trotta, absolute pros. I mean, obviously the chemistry between all three guys in the booth was really good. You know, they're all pretty much buddies, so you could kind of tell that when they were calling the race. So yeah, it's like the same chemistry that Hinch and Townsend have, you know, in the race where they start poking at each other and, you know, ribbing and nudging each other about, you know, certain things that are going on. You know, it's good to see. So yeah, that's it for this week. We will talk to everybody next week. See you later. Bye.
See you later.